Hi everyone. I hope we hope because we are 4 here that you are going great. We are already 10 and it's growing.
Hi everyone,
Hi everyone. I see that
welcome.
Lisa is with us. Noza, Xavier, Anirban. So we are still waiting for some people to join, maybe 1 minute, and then we will start. We received some questions, so I think it will be quite an MAA. So really happy to be with you guys. I see that the chat is hello.
Hi, everyone.
Great, that's great. Hi Jifari. Ronnie is here, of course. The Ronnie. Hi everyone. Great. So let's start. We received a lot of questions, and first of all, we are very sorry for all the people that could not join because we try to select the best time for all the people from the American East Coast, West Coast, and to Australia, France, Indonesia, whatever. So we really try to find the best time, and it looks to be the best one. So I'm especially sorry for Joachim that we think about you, Joachim. You are now maybe sleeping because you are in Australia, but tomorrow you will have the replay. So we are here with you, and we receive all your questions, by the way. So let's start. What I suggest is that first I will tell you all the questions that we received, and then we will take them one by one, and we will reply. So the first question was, do you trade your own long-short portfolio based on the meta model to obtain a track record in the live market? That was the first question. Second question, how successful have you been at selling the signal to institutions or investors? Third question, what will happen when you run out of Crunch tokens from your treasury? When is this projected to happen? Another question, I understand there is a cap on the total amount paid for a tournament, but I don't understand why there is no cap on the total payout for staked rewards. It feels like a scam. Will the Crunch token be backed by anything other than just demand from speculators and CrunchDAO users? We have also another question. When will you be listing the Crunch token on exchanges? DEX, CoinBase, Binance, next year? That's the question mark. Could you explain the levels and associated scoring, please? And I think, no, it's not the last question. I think it's almost the last question. When multimodal, when would I be able to provide, and when would I be able to provide data to the DAO? Where is the staking standing? What's the next step with the DeSci framework? Why did you close the community? And then some wanted some updates on the governance, so how to deal with token concentration and so on. So that's all the questions we received, and let's start directly with the first question. I feel like in a game, like who will reply, how many points? Okay, do you trade your own long-short portfolio based on the meta model to obtain a track record in the live market? Who wants to take that question, guys?
So I guess I will answer this question. So to be transparent, we traded last year the signal, but we traded like it was client money, so it was not in a specific vehicle, specific hedge fund. And we've been talking to a lot of investors, institutional investors, and prime brokers. And basically, in this industry, what we need to have in order to be able to sell the signal and to sell the performance to an institutional investor, we need to have this performance in a vehicle which is audited by like a big audit firm. So we basically we decided we started last year with one company, which was DataCrunch, and we decided to split into the way we work. On one side, we have CrunchDAO. So CrunchDAO is the research team, which is producing the signal. And the other side, we're putting DataCrunch, which is able to manage in a hedge fund the signal. So this is to build a track record. This is to have a track record which is audited by Deloitte, because we picked Deloitte as the auditor. And so we'll have a track record, then we'll start to be able to have CrunchDAO using this track record to sell the signal to large institutions. So that's the idea. And so as you understand, the way it will work is that if a client wants to get the signal from CrunchDAO, it will have to pay the signal. It can pay in fiat or token. If it pays in fiat, then CrunchDAO would switch the fiat into tokens, and the tokens will be used to reward the community that has produced this signal according to the performance of everybody and according to their skills.
Okay. I think
Anybody wants to add something?
No, it's clear.
Yeah.
Except if you have questions.
So the next questions. How successful have you been at selling the signal to institution or end investors?
So it's this relates to the previous question, basically, because in order to sell a signal to a large institution, we need to have a track record. Basically, we will look for something like 3 to 6 months minimum track record. For some institutions, you even have some funds that will wait for 3 years track record to be able to buy the signal. So we need to build this. On the side, we basically started to talk since last year to big institutional investors, even very big institutional investors. In total, we have talked to investors who can actually do manage in total $1 trillion, and basically they all said that they're interested in the signal, in what we do, but we need to come back with a track record and an audited track record, so that we can start to talk again. So I did not mention that we will start trading in February 23 in a hedge fund this signal, and so probably 3 to 6 months from February, so medium next year, we'll be able to begin to sell the signal.
Great. So it's actually time, guys, to crunch a lot, because we are going live soon. Another question. Ooh, that's an interesting question, by the way. What will happen when you run out of Crunch tokens from your treasury? When is this projected to happen?
Yeah. So basically, the way this you'd call it the token economy is built today, we have roughly 10 years of reserves. Okay. And basically, we are 6 months. Hopefully, we are 6 months away from starting to have clients who do buy Crunch to give it to the community. So what we have to think is that as the clients come in and buy tokens, there will be a ramp up, and we hope that within the next 3 years, we will not need actually to use the reserve tokens. So we have quite a big margin. And so once we have reached a level where the client fees actually paid in Crunch allow us to have sufficient Crunch to pay and reward the community, then we will start to maybe decide, to also burn some tokens. But then we'll also have to decide what we do with the remaining token that we didn't use that are in the reserve, and that should be a value for everybody in the DAO and all the token holders. As a reminder, just as a reminder, yes, I think it's important to explain that. So since CrunchDAO is a research team and it's selling its signal, the institutional investors or asset manager who want to get the signal will have to pay in Crunch. So the Crunch is very simple. If you want to get the signal, you pay Crunch, and the Crunch goes back to the community as is in rewards.
Very clear. Thanks, Arnaud. I understand there is a cap on the total amount paid for a tournament, but I don't understand why there is no cap on the total payout for staked rewards. It feels like a scam.
Okay, so it's interesting because actually, and technically, there is a cap. I think it would be good if we can share the smart contract of the staking. So for those who are not aware, if you are a token holder, because you were able to buy it, or because maybe you received it as a data scientist in the tournament, these tokens, you have a smart contract where you can stake them, and you have an APY. You have a reward in Crunch. Okay, so it is totally capped. First of all, because there is a total amount of tokens that have been allocated to the smart contract. It's a 100. I think I looked today. I don't remember how many it was at the beginning, but you can go back because everything is in the blockchain. So, but today it's 160,000 tokens. So once, the day these 160,000 tokens are totally being paid as staking incentivized, then there will be no more tokens in this contract. We will have to decide whether we put more, we change everything. Okay, so just first of all, it is totally capped. Now, obviously, what you could say that the API is pretty high, and basically that would be definitely a scam if the tokens to reward this API was newly minted tokens. Actually, it's not. It's only for given with tokens that are already in the total supply, that are actually tokens that are only for data scientists who want to stake the tokens, because the team, we have tokens that are vested and we can use it to stake them. So these tokens that are in the staking contract are for you guys who participate in the tournament. And so I think also what is important is this mechanism, this staking mechanism. We want to make it, to improve it. We want to change it. We also want to use a staking mechanism in the tournament, so that we are working on this. And there has been some propositions from the community, and I think we'll have to discuss this. And I think what is important is the community decides, what should be the staking mechanism. We did something at the very beginning, obviously, because we didn't want a selling pressure. We wanted to have the people who buy tokens or the people who receive tokens in the tournament, we wanted them to have an incentive to keep them. So we gave an APY. Now maybe there's going to be new mechanism where we believe that if people keep the tokens so that they can stake on their model and earn more, maybe it's a better mechanism for the community. It's also a better mechanism to understand which are the best models. Because if you believe in the quality of your work, then you'll probably be able to stake more tokens. And so we had some proposal on this. Like we could have tokens that are locked in a smart contract for like a voted escrow token, which give you more voting power or more tokens for staking. Or you could have also a mechanism where the tokens that you have, you can use them to stake on your model. And that's a collateral for all the people who have tokens to come and actually stake on your model, and you would earn a part of whatever the reward the other investor would get. So that's things that we are talking right now, and we have to discuss and to vote on them. So basically, for sure, the mechanism will evolve.
Thank you, Arnaud. I see you have many questions. There is many questions for you today. And I think maybe this one also. Let us know. So the question is, will the Crunch token be backed by anything other than just demand from speculators and CrunchDAO users? So,
Yeah. Well, first of all, just from a personal standpoint, I don't want the token to be backed by speculators. There's no point in this. Okay, we're not here for that. What we want is to have a fair mechanism where we share the value that is created by all the people who are playing on the tournament and who are the data scientists who are bringing value. So this is why we believe Web3 is great, because the token is really a tool. It's a great tool if you want to distribute and reward, have a reward mechanism to distribute value to people in 50 countries, which is what we have today. I mean, it's really, we want to do it in a very smart way, where you can compute the performance of the contributor based on the correlation, based on the originality, and so on. And that's really a great tool. So you can actually see the token as a payment token, because basically the asset manager or the investors who want the signal, we pay with the token, and CrunchDAO will decide to reward each contributor. So it's really like a payment token. And so I think this mechanism is very, as the person who asked the question, is it a profit sharing? Well, it's sharing the value that is created by the community among the community members and the token holders. That's what we want to achieve.
Okay, so if I understand well, what you say is that the token is a payment token against the service,
Exactly.
Okay. Another question, I think that interests 100% of the crunchers. So maybe wait a bit, because I see the excitement of the people. So when will you be listing the Crunch token on exchanges next year? Next year? Question mark.
Question mark. Is it next year? I think that what I had the question last year also, and the question was, would it be next year? So anyway, when and who? I mean, when we'll be listing with which exchange or who? We really want this to be decided by the community. So this will come when we have reached some metrics. It appears that if you want to get listed on an exchange, you need to have achieved some metrics that people look, and we hope that these metrics will be reached this year in 2023, probably mid-year 2023. Okay. And basically, the way it works with exchanges is basically you talk to people who talk to exchange, and at some point the exchange come to you and say, we would be interested to list your token. To be totally transparent with you, we already really had some discussion like that, but with exchanges that we believe were too small, and we're not interested in just being listed for the sake of being listed. And so we did not flag this opportunities to the community. But the idea is that as the metrics come in 23, we'll have discussions with bigger exchange, and then we'll ask the community, do you believe this exchange is the right exchange for us? And then we'll go on. Obviously, we have to be selective, I think, today. We all know what's happening with FTX, and there's also other doubts on maybe other exchanges. So really have to take our time to do things well, to have the right metrics, and to make sure that it's the best for the community.
Yeah, totally. So the community decides in the end. So we will do that when you will ask us to do it. And you will decide on the best moment. Yeah. Then I have a question. I think I will take it. This one. It's could you explain the levels and associated scoring, please? And at the same time, I will take the question of Jifari, who asked a good question. Would it be possible to get a working experience setter by working as a data scientist for the tournament after a certain time? That's very interesting, this question, Jifari. And I will give you my feelings about this. Maybe Arnaud, Jean, or Matteo, you will be able to add something if needed. But so I will include my answer in the question. Can you explain the levels associated and associated scoring, please? So today, if you connect yourself to your CrunchDAO profile, you'll see that there is actually a scoring. And it's true that today the levels are of absolutely no use. What we are actually doing is that we are designing a new application that will take levels into account. And by the way, the idea is that the community votes on the name of the level. So what do I mean by that? For example, in the next 6 months, there will be levels. So maybe the first level will be intern, the second analyst, the third VP, the fourth partner, etc., etc., etc. So we want to include this gamification that we think is really great. And you will vote also on the name. So not just about is it intern, but it can be master, grandmaster. You will choose. We are here to listen to your suggestion, to your suggestions. We will ask you to vote or to suggest. I think we will do a bounty the next months. I think 1 or 2 months. We will come back to you with this type of question. And each level will have specific rewards. So today, there is no scheme. The scheme is not ready. But I will share with you some mockups about the apps that we are actually designing. The rewards can be, for example, more staking rewards, or ability to that the community stake on the player that has a specific level, or more payouts, access to specific data, access to specific perks, and so on. So I think it's how it will work. And to answer your question, Jifari, so is it possible to get a working experience letter? I think that can be the deal. If you reach a certain point, a certain level, then I'm quite sure that the community, but this is the community that will decide. I can't tell you right now, but we can put that on a vote, and the scheme will be voted by the community. So we can include this proposal, of course, in the vote that we will do, and to put that in this gamification scheme. And yes, potentially we will be able to provide you a working experience letter. That's actually a very good idea, because we are looking for such ideas. And if you have more, just send it to me, send it to us. That's an amazing idea, Jifari. I think I will share my screen soon to showcase the application that we are about to dev. But in the meantime, because I need to prepare my screen, there is another question for, I don't know, who wants to take it?
I can take the next one. Yeah, happy to take that.
Yes, about multimodal. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, when multimodal. Yeah, I know you guys want to submit several models, and I know you guys did by creating many accounts, but that was kind of a pain in the ass, because you had to create several wallets and several accounts to submit multiple models. I think we have some people that wish to submit more than 4 or 5 different versions of a model. So that's what we call multimodal. When you have a data set, you have, of course, a different way to look at it. You can build, I don't know, decision trees, regressions, different deep neural net, etc. You can build different type of model, and sometimes you don't want to ensemble this model before submitting. So you would like to submit a pure model that use different tech, and we totally agree with that. We show that there is a lot of alpha to get there. But recently, we also voted that we wanted to go to the one dataset tournament. Just to resume, right now we have 6 different datasets, and you guys are building model for each individual dataset. Now we just voted that for the sake of simplicity, we would have just one dataset. And so building the multi-model submission backend and front end at this moment doesn't feel like the right timing. So first, going into one dataset, that will be the first move. Once we have one dataset, you'll be able to submit multiple model for the one dataset. this is, I believe, the right way to go. Otherwise, we develop something that we will be breaking in the coming months. And about the one data set also, we also observed that there is non-linearity happening between the different strategies. Like right now, each strategy is living in a silo alone. And so we cannot really exploit these links or non-linearities that could live within different data sets. I mean, you could have some features coming from institutional ownerships or insider trading, and some fundamental features that would like to discuss with each other, right? That would like to give some information that is not linear. And by putting all these data sets together into one master data set, you guys will be able to handpick some features and play with that. I think this will increase the quality of the meta model and also the orthogonality of the meta model. And this is very important, how original we are. So how far we are from the classic research that has been done on the market. This is very important because when you are talking to institutional investors, what they want is something that doesn't exist yet. Why? Because they won't pay you and the community, 20% performance fee if you are giving a performance that is loading risk on some risk that they can have just by buying a momentum ETF or that kind of things. So yes, to get out of this very classical outlook at financial research, putting all this data together is a very good trick, because you guys will be able to handpick. So I think, one data set will be superb, and I can't wait for that. Multi-model, obviously, superb also.
Great.
And there is a second part of the question, which is when will we be able to provide data? Well, really soon. We know that there is some great signal. We have been talking with many research team out there, and we really want to also harvest these signals. And I think, Ben, you were mentioning levels. I think reach at one level, you will be able to provide your own signals, your own features. But to do that, I really believe that we need some skin in the game. So to make sure that what you are pushing to us is actually of value and accurate. Because even if we test you in the past, maybe 1 week you just, get some bad data and you don't realize that your pipeline is being corrupted and you are sending something that is not accurate. This could harm the meta model. And to be sure that you are very diligent and working well with your signal, I think you will need skin in the game. And so it means that providing data will come in the roadmap after staking. So just to resume what I was saying, I see first one data set, then multimodal, then staking, then you can provide data. That's how I see things.
Thanks, Jean. So now maybe it's time for me to show the application. I hope it will work. So maybe first I will show you directly the application then. Let's go. So this is the next application, the next version of CrunchDAO. It's something we are working on since now, I think July. It takes time because there is much more complexity. It's not just about designing or finding the perfect picture, of course, or it would have been done long ago, but it will be a lot of features that's coming with it. So it's why we need to be a bit patient, but we will be rewarded. Your wait, it will be good in the end to wait for this new version. So a new onboarding first with some questions that you can see here. We want to know better the player, the member of the DAO. I think it's important for us to assess who is coming with us, so who is joining us. There will be this declaration of Crunch civil rights that we are still working on, and also the onboarding will be so the onboarding will be much more smooth. So it will be a way to enter the community. Yeah, it's important for us to get to know you. Since 2 months, we are heading in this direction. We want to be closer to you. And this is one of the first steps we took. So every new member is going through an onboarding process. So he needs to pick a time, and then like some like a quick get started, some stuff that you need to do, like join the Discord, blah 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 blah. I'm not entering too much into details, and that's the screen you are waiting for, guys. I guess. That will be the future dashboard with your global performance, data set performance, scientific contribution, social contribution, Discord interaction, mathematical duties, civilian duties, levels. Joachim, I think you were asking the question. So that's the level. So I put that, but we are waiting for the name. We are waiting for the name. Multi-model submission, of course, which is somewhere, I don't know, here. Still a screen that we are working on. New submission screen that you can see here, and the leaderboard that will be done for multi-modeling and not for one model. So it will be the model name that will rank, we believe now, and not one person. So for now, this is where we are. We have tomorrow, I think I will finish some screens. So we are actually starting to dev the application. Backend is already ongoing, and the front end will start soon.
I personally can't wait for this because we were still running on the legacy kind of platforms, which the UX was developed to consume as little as resource as possible, and to be and it's very not user friendly. I believe it's very hard to get in when you start. So we had to spend much time with you to run you through the platforms. And I mean, what you have done, Ben, I think on the UX is amazing. It looks super light now. I really love it. Personally, I love it. Can't wait to share more detail.
You can share your impression, by the way, on the chat. I'd love to hear from you guys. And also, we are working on another feature, a small feature that can be really cool, is to send you your daily scoring on WhatsApp, on your WhatsApp. So we'll check that.
This is going to be cool.
I think
cool.
I
didn't know.
Cool.
And to go back to maybe Jifari's question, I think it would be super nice to, maybe for higher levels in that cool page in which you have the scoring, the civil duties, you can export, download, you get a PDF which says this person is this level in this community and achieve this level of correlation scoring. So that it's, we can, that's why I replied with him to him. To make it in a systematic way, I think that would be cool.
Very cool. And there is another question from Pratik, who asked, can you please make payout dashboard that lists the rounds for which the payout has been made? Also list 0 payouts if payout is not made, specifying the rounds that the participant did not participate. So that's an interesting suggestion, Pratik. I'm just copy pasting your question, not the question, but your suggestion.
It makes me think about the screenshot that Ronnie did on the Discord recently, right? With the payouts of everyone, where we see, I think Jeremy is currently quite well ranked. So yeah, I think I like it too. But the point also was to reduce the number of leaderboards, because we were counting before. We had 76, I think, leaderboards, because we had 1 leaderboard per round, and the platform was getting like a jungle of leaderboards, and it was painful. So I think there is a right balance between how many leaderboards we have to make sure we all focus on the right things. Obviously, payout is one of it, I think. So
Okay, so we have another question. Where is staking standing? Who wants to take that?
Maybe I can relate it to, and by the way, about staking and how to best interact with this DeFi framework. There's going to be a video out in an hour or so with a small tutorial. And if I hope that helps. And if you have still questions, please jump into the Discord. But yeah, I'm mentioning this because the tutorial is how to interact with the staking bounty. We have been going through this bounty staking since October, and we are actually getting the last submission these days. So the idea is to, and apologies for the time we took, but we tried to build a framework that will allow us to then proceed much faster and much more organically in the coming bounties, and potentially even outside bounties. That's the vision. But yeah, about staking specifically, the idea is to collect all the proposals in the coming weeks and associate them with a snapshot voting, so that we can analyze all the proposals, vote according to our favorite ones, and then integrate these proposals in the new version of the crowdsourced research investment paper, which will be the base for our action in the near future. So yeah, I would say next month is a reasonable timeline to think about the implementation of new staking. End of the year, let's say.
Okay, thank you very much, Matteo. Matteo.
So yeah, I think implementation will be quite a task. Maybe if we manage to have the vote and we all decide on this quite soon, that will be really, really great. Yeah, the discussion are going to be wild, I think, on the staking.
Yeah. About that, we're also working on the UX for making more trackable, more easy to interact with a forum-like structure in which we have all the proposals. Now the UX for putting out a proposal is there, but maybe Discord is too noisy to then discuss each proposal. Either we do channel specific to each proposal, or we organize in the DeSci website something. Yeah, but it's going to be I think we should have some air to have a discussion after the sharing of all the proposals. But
okay, so I think we have another question for you, Matteo.
Yeah.
This is what's the next step with the DeSci framework?
Yes. Okay.
Can you explain a bit what is the DeSci framework for those that?
Yeah. So it's a tool. That's the best way of thinking about it for the members of the DAO to participate in questions which are more about meta modeling, so higher levels of modeling questions associated with CrunchDAO, and not necessarily with the tournament. And it's a way for us to populate. I would like to talk about it in terms of saying the first continuous development white paper, which talks about the pipeline we have set up, and we are setting up in CrunchDAO to go from the tournament layer 0 to the actual signal that the DAO is able to provide to its clients. So yeah, it's an integration we've done. The vision is to put together Overleaf and VS Code, so to work with Python-like language and LaTeX at the same time, to simplify, not write in LaTeX to write papers, but use Markdown, which is a simplified language. It's a simpler language. And to integrate this with Git on one side and IPFS on the other, Git to have this continuous development way of working, incremental improvements, and IPFS to be tractable, to trace the developments and be transparent. So yeah, I said I started saying this is a tool, and the idea is that this is primarily a tool for us to have a better way of being synchronized, to collaborate. But it's actually, it's an object that can live even outside the tournament, and so it's a way of doing research. That's why it's part of the decentralized science ecosystem. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to add something. I think in our field of finance, there are many research papers, and obviously because we are very interested in what factor can explain what's happening in the stock market, we've been looking into a lot of papers in the past, and it's really very difficult to be able to replicate the paper. And it's normal, because if somebody is working in a firm and has a fantastic way to explain what you call cross-section returns, so which is what's going to happen in the market, the predictions, be able to predict the market. But that person wants to say, okay, I've made great research and I've found something fantastic, but they don't want to basically give this research to everybody, because this would be alpha decay. So you can be quite frustrated in research because you have beautiful research papers, but you have no way to replicate it. And I think we want to take the opposite approach, where we say, okay, we're going to share something, we're going to make it open source, and not only you can use it, share it, replicate it, but you can also look in history what has been done, who has brought something to the platform, to the research paper. And I think this is great for everybody, that everybody will be able to use. So we'll put the CrunchDAO papers, but other scientific project will be able to use this platform to put their research, and I think everybody will benefit from that. So I think it's great. It's a great tool.
Yeah,
Cool.
and maybe I can add that it's for the DAO, but actually it's a nice way of working for myself when I do research. So everything I'm doing related to dimensionality reduction, clustering, ensemble learning, portfolio theory, I will document it there. We'll see to what extent we will be able to afford, or also it will be necessary and worth to share more. But for sure, it's a nice way of documenting and doing research and let people know and be able to collaborate.
So Matteo, just where will you share the video to explain what this platform is
It will
about?
be on our YouTube channel,
Okay.
and then we will spam
the
it in
link.
the Discord.
Okay, good.
I will send it also on in the newsletter. Maybe tomorrow I will share it with
Great.
everyone. We have another questions that's about why did you close the community? That's for me, obviously. So yeah, before, like you were landing on our landing page, on our homepage, and you just had to register and start. But we decided that was it, because as you all know, we launched the Ex Machina season 2 months ago. And one of the main goals of this season was to get closer to our member. And that's the first reason, the most important reason. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know all the members, and we want all the members to know all other members. So that's one thing, and we are heading in this direction. You will see that the Discord will change because we'll create local communities on the Discord so that you can chat, and yeah. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that we believe that if you know the members, we expect to have a higher engagement and a better quality. So better player and more engaged. And at some point, so today we are assessing the members that want to join. Some members, I would say that today only 30% of the members that are applying can join the DAO. We are selective, and we will be more and more selective. So That's something. We are looking for more quality, of course. So we want the level to increase and increase and increase. And in the end, if we keep a close, small community that is very engaged with excellent members, then it means more money for everyone as well. So it's not today, at least. We don't want to go too big. We don't want to be a big community. We want to be a nice community where all the people get to know all the other members, and we want actually just to have fun together. It's just about mathematics and having fun and doing. I mean, having fun and building a project that is really awesome. So that's what we are looking for. I hope I replied to that question. And then there is another question on the governance. So how to deal with token concentration? Who wants to take this?
Okay, maybe I can answer. First of all, acknowledging Correlator that proposed this for the first time last week, I think. We, there have been criticism about the fact that some tokens are concentrated in a few wallets, and we've always been big fans of quadratic voting and quadratic funding. We participated in Gitcoin a few months back. So the idea is for sure interesting. We were and are still a bit scared about Sybil resistance. I mean, concerned about Sybil resistance. And so this is what kept us a bit back on that front with quadratic voting. But after Correlator's input, after looking into the Decentralized Society paper and discussing with one of the authors this weekend at a conference with Sean, we went at the Foresight Institute conference. It seems that a combination of quadratic voting and soulbound tokens could be an interesting solution for the governance. Which, with the soulbound token, we could remove, we could remove, we could be Sybil resistant, and with the quadratic voting part, we could be more distributed. So
yes, and it goes back also to the levels, because each level could have a soulbound token, for example. And this soulbound token maybe could have a weight on the governance also.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. If you just started 1 month ago, or if you are member since 2, 3, 5, 10 years, obviously. But this is things that we don't have answer now. We are exploring every option, and we will make sure to reach out to you to get your take on the problem.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to have a qualitative analysis of these possibilities. I like what you just said about having different weights, but a question I asked this weekend was why in quadratic voting are we using a squared weight? Like okay, non-linear, because we want to have 10 wallets with one token to count more than one wallet with 10 tokens. But why specifically quadratic? And it seems quadratic has some nice properties, but it's not that obvious. So
Matteo, maybe can you explain in a few sentences what does that mean, quadratic voting, for those that don't know?
I recommend looking into the Funding of Public Goods paper by Vitalik, the creator of Ethereum. The idea is that you have different governance schemes. You can have one in which you have one wallet, one vote, so one head, one vote, democracy, let's say, or other systems which are more traditional company-like. So you have equity, and the administrators decide proportionally to the share. Decisions are made proportionally to the shares, irrespective of how many people have these shares. So at the end, you count the shares and you see. Quadratic voting is about weighting non-linearly the contributions of putting together non-linearly the heads, so the democracy approach and the token approach and the equity approach, and so leading to a system in which, as I said before, as an example, if we have one person with 10 tokens and 10 person with one token each, distributed in 10 wallets, then in a democracy-like system, let's say we would be 10 against 1 and the 10 would win. In a equity-like, let's say this is not 10 but it's 11, 1 wins against 10. In a quadratic voting, it's an in-between. So in the paper, I think they talk about convex and concave governance schemes, and they argue that this quadratic voting is an in-between because the idea is that we count the tokens, but we don't do their sum. We do the square root of the sum of the squares, and so at the end, more wallets, the more the tokens are distributed, the more the voting counts.
Okay, thank
Let
you
me
very
drop
much.
the paper in the chat.
Yeah, I think that could be quite interesting. I think that's it for the questions. Also, we have something to celebrate, guys. We did not talk about, and maybe we should have started with that. But we were selected in the Future 40. That's the. I mean, we are. There is an incubator called Station F. Station F. It's in France. It's the biggest accelerator in the world. There are 1,000 startups, and we have been handpicked. And we are one of the 40 startups that are the most promising startup of Station F. So it's really, really difficult to enter this ranking, and we made it. And we made it thanks to you. We made it thanks to all the members. And yes, so I think it's very important to celebrate and to thank you for what you have done. And yeah.
Just quickly to show what is Station F. Matteo, can I ask you to turn your computer to the other side? Right. So it's it's like 300 meters long. Like you only see 1/3 of the building. So it's the length of the Eiffel Tower, just to give you an idea. And so yes, you have 1,000 startup. Obviously, they are not here all the time because people are in and out, and a lot of people are remote. But it was great to be listed as the main 40 startup of this great environment. Yeah. Thank you, Matteo.
Okay, I think we will end on this beautiful screen. Thank you all. And Xavier also is celebrating with us in the chat. Of course, Xavier, ID42, Xavier. Very, very important member. Okay, so see you guys. We will do another AMA in a month or two maximum. And we wish you a good crunch tomorrow for the new round that is starting. Thank you, Sergey. Thank you, Xavier, Ruby, Granat.
See you guys.
Harry, Ronnie.
Thank you very much.
See
Thank you.
Etc. Bye bye.